Now it's time to talk about men. Hiya, fam. Are you tired of hearing how hated and despised you are for being a man? Well, I mean, I don't have to worry about that. My daughter doesn't have to worry about that. We're hated for other reasons. Strangely enough, not because of our minority status, despite what some in popular circles might say, but because of our values. Well, it's crazy. I guess. I mean, we ask to be judged by the content of our character, and we want to be judged by our values and our actions rather than by our race, our skin color, and superficial things like that. So I guess if we get hated for having values and speaking for them, then that is a merit to us. I mean, Jesus said that blessed are you who are insulted and persecuted for my name's sake. So I mean, at least there's that going for us. So I mean, like, who cares about the opinions of elites and people in political power? The important thing is that we speak the truth and guide people to the truth, which is Jesus Christ, and save their souls and show them the one who will save their soul. That is ultimately the goal. What's the point of it being an evangelical Catholic if it doesn't lead people closer to salvation, to Jesus Christ? The reason I wanted to make this video is because I noticed quite a while ago the contrast when it comes to the pro-life issue, pro-choice issue. Although there's sadly similarities where the men are kind of marginalized. They're definitely marginalized. I mean, where their voices are hardly ever heard, and if they're spoken of, they're pro-choice types, and they're lazy, or they are toxic, blah blah blah. And I'm kind of sick of just the toxic masculinity talk. It's the most toxic thing of all, ironically. So it's nice in the pro-life movement that we point out that there's good, virtuous men. The pro-life movement is just mainly made up of women. There are some pro-life leaders like, I think his name is Sean, for the 40 Days for Life founder. But I just feel like a majority of the people actively involved in the pro-life movement, leading pro-life movements, are women, with Susan B. Anthony-nist, Live Action, and Students for Life, predominantly women. Not that it's important who's leading it. If it was all men, it would still be the truth. But they're still marginalized, I feel like, in the pro-life movement. There's, in my experience, a group of women and then like one guy. There's definitely men who want to get involved and are involved, men who want to be good fathers. The pro-life movement doesn't necessarily shy away from that. I just feel like the highlight is on the women. I mean, I know there's a demand for that because, you can't focus too much on the baby. Obviously, the baby's life is in danger. You got to talk about the baby. But we both share in common that we care about the women. So we're going to talk a lot about the women and their rights, their health, their well-being, their life, the risk involved with abortion, the regret involved in abortion. There's just been a little bit of talk about the men. The pro-life movement is most inclusive because it actually includes the men and lets them talk and speak out and encourages men in small ways. I learned that a pro-life crisis pregnancy center has a kind of like a ministry, a group for men, so they can know how to be fathers and have that mentorship in taking on that role of father, because it's the good and right thing to do. I hear all the time it's good and right thing to do. Women are so brave and so strong in choosing to be mothers. Often the word single is in there. Single mothers, women choosing to be mothers and mother the child. Yes, as a mother myself, very involved in the mothering process. Yes, it's kind of like we're the two of us have become one, and everything I eat, she eats, and I need to breathe so she can breathe, and it's just such an intimate, beautiful bond, and also some sacrifices. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, the woman is very intimately involved here, but I feel like just a little bit like the pro-choice movement has succeeded in drowning out men. We can't talk about men because the pro-choicers will think that we are misogynist and all brainwashed by the patriarchy or something. We can't actually talk about men taking responsibility or men wanting to take responsibility and actually caring about their child. We kind of shy away from that. I've definitely seen that shared, like the heartbreak of men in the pro-life movement. It feels like that's the only one of the few places where men feel like they can actually speak out, or the only place where the only platforms where men's voices can be heard in regard to this, despite this, despite, pro-choicers insisting that it's a women's issue and that women are being controlled by men, but yet the women are silencing the men and doing most of the talking, and the line is constantly repeated: no uterus, no opinion. It's like, who's really in control here? Is it really the men? The men are the ones who are being silenced. They do just try to speak for the truth. They try to, with reason, just share the reasons and the logic behind their position, but they are silenced. But it's apparently the women that are being controlled. It doesn't make sense to me, but I think even the pro-lifers don't really mention the men that much. But I don't think we should be afraid to, and say that men want to be fathers. Men should be encouraged to be fathers, and we don't want to perpetuate stereotypes or create self-fulfilling prophecies by perpetuating this idea that men are selfish and lazy. Yeah, there's definitely men who try to control women and have them get abortions so they can have their lax, easy life and not have to deal with child or child support, and not have to wake up to the reality that they have to take responsibility for their actions, and that they should take creating a human life seriously. There's lots of men who defend life but are shut down with the no uterus, no opinion. And I'm glad they bravely still go forward to stand and peacefully pray and speak and stand for life. And they're not afraid to speak the truth and lead other men, like in the pro-life pregnancy crisis center. It was a man who started the ministry to mentor other men. I guess that's the most empowering and manly thing that can be done. I mean, it would have been okay if a woman said, we need a men's ministry, but it's something extra when a man says, we need a men's ministry. I'm going to mentor men, because men need to be those leaders. And if you want to have men be mentored into being men and fathers, what better man than a man who's going to take the initiative himself? So it's like, it's good on that. It's good on that this man tried to insist and then made it happen to have a ministry catering to the men and speaking for the men. And I would hope that men would feel empowered to actually get more involved and start that ministry themselves. Again, men are often mentioned, but are more marginalized, even in the pro-life movement, when it comes to this issue. I mean, I'm glad there's a lot of brave men who are actually willing to speak out It seems like most of the time women are left in the foreground. We know how that kind of went down with the Garden of Eden and Eve and Adam and the serpent again. Yeah, somebody needs to take action. Someone needs to speak, and that person happens to be a woman. Then so be it. But there's a problem if men aren't taking initiative and stepping up to speak for the truth for the most weak and most vulnerable, and aren't being encouraged to do so, which I kind of feel like that's been the case for a while. That we bought into the lie that this is a woman's issue when it is a human rights issue, and that means that men should be encouraged and supported in speaking the truth about abortion, and shouldn't be afraid of the no uterus, no opinion argument. And yeah, just keep doing what you do, pro-life men. Appreciate your support, your effort, your activism, and your masculinity in a world where we seem to be dominated by females or something. It is the strangest thing, where we're so oppressed, but yet still dominating the world. And look where that's gone us. Just kidding. This is a team effort. That's what I want to think of it. It's not man versus woman. Like, the pro-life movement is a team effort. It's about the unborn life. It's about human rights. It's not just women's rights like pro-choicers want us to think. It is about human rights, so it should involve all humans, all races, all sexes, all ages. And while it might feel empowering to be a woman with child, to speak for life, it's probably a lot harder for men. It's like, yeah, I know I haven't experienced pregnancy. I'll never experience pregnancy, but this is the truth. That abortion kills an unborn human being. That it takes more galls. Like, I don't have a direct personal problem, but I do have a personal problem with people killing other people. And I don't have to be that sex to speak about it. Also, men were once unborn children. So, with that background, I mean, we were once all unborn children. There isn't a single one of us that was never an unborn child. We all had to be born or grow in the mother's womb and come out through cesarean section. That would be crazy if we had that weird strict policy. But anyway, the point being, we were once an unborn child. All of us, men, woman, black, white, X, Y, Z, you name it. We came to be from a mother's womb. However you slice it, but don't slice the unborn, because we're pro-life. Thank you for your time. We are the pro-life generation. That's right. And we are pro-human and human rights, and we're tired of this gendered thing. We are in this together. Thank you, fam. God bless. Bye.